Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 8 of What If Naruto was neglected and lost everything. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, stay tuned for the rest of the episodes coming your way over Anime King 2 and Anime King 3. Yes, if you're new, you heard that correctly. I have 3 channels. Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. Links will be down in the description for the others, so yeah, go ahead and check them out and enjoy, yeah. So without further ado, what is to begin this new episode start, the intro. So the last spot we left off, as the group went towards the Hokage's office, as they asked for a mission. Minato paused as he stopped Naruto from exiting, as he told him that the Hyugas want to speak to him. Naruto basically ignored the man as they went their way. As Iruka turned towards him, Minato had a look of regret on his face. After all, he disowned the boy for being unpleasant and because he had no manners. But the boy was never a threat to the village or anyone else, as he looked rather sad, like he made a big mistake, which he did that he would still keep it to himself, as Iruka was confused about the whole ordeal. As Naruto made his way, Itachi took precautions just in case, as they made their way toward the Hyuga compound, as Naruto was the only one that entered. As Hayashi asked him about Neji, we then went into a flashback as Neji had tried to kill Naruto. After all, the sacrifice was made, and Hisashi had switched place with Hayashi. Because of the cage bird seal on his forehead, the Byakans would be destroyed. And Neji blamed Naruto for that, as he attacked Naruto. But yet the boy didn't attack him back, as Neji was confused. It was better that he die here than face the wrath, knowing that he went up against Naruto Senju. What will happen to him afterwards because he failed. But Naruto told him that he can pick his own future, his own destiny and his own fate, as he was able to talk Neji out of it. And from there on, Neji became his student. Hayashi told Naruto that he can still continue to train Neji as long as he did in the compound. As Naruto saw where he was going, he didn't want Neji to hand over anything secretive to Naruto, any of the Hyugan strikes or anything like that. But Naruto didn't want them, he just wanted to make sure that Neji was okay. So with that he made his way. Kushina was out with her daughter. As they went to pick up soccer as they went to the park, they saw a whole lot of people gathered, as it was Naruto and his team as they burned the garbage and blew it away. Katsumi rushed over along with Sakura, as they looked up at Naruto saying that he was so cool, as Kushina slowly made her way. As when Naruto saw her, his eyes turned hateful, before he simply walked away. She lowered her head. So many wrongdoings in the past, and now the both of them regret everything. Snaddy was happy. Snaddy was proud of him because he was powerful, he was strong. He was growing into a fine ninja, but she could never call him her son. She wondered if he ever knew the truth. When he knew the truth, would he ever forgive them for what they did? As she kind of feel like he wouldn't. But neither Minato knew that Naruto being part of the fox inside of him. It was a big mystery, as she cursed Jiraiya's name. Just what the hell happened that night? We then had a time skip as they arrived at the city, as something was going on. They made their plan as Kakashi left them alone, as they were the one to take this mission. He didn't really leave them, as he hid, watching them as they made their progress, as Naruto transformed into a farmer as he made his way, as he gathered information trying to find out what was going on and where the brothers were. But he was going to stumble into something bigger than he expected. As he was making his way, he was knocked to the corner by a man. He was prepared, but the man told him that he wasn't his enemy. Naruto's instincts went off as he had to use the man's body as a shield to block a hail of kunais and shurikens. As he just moved, he never meant to. The place then gets surrounded as flames rain down on him. as the two figures landed with a smirk, thinking that Naruto was dead as they went off. As Naruto came out of the mouth of Ryu, The chameleon that he summoned, whose skin is tough as he had melted with a rock. As he told Naruto he can summon him just in case. He can summon any of them if he was in trouble. As Naruto nodded, as the chameleon made his way off. As Naruto made his way to the apartment that he was staying in, only to find another person there, who told him that he was a friend, not a foe. As he was gonna tell Naruto what was going on here. So yeah guys, was basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So this is the beginning of this new episode. First of all, my name is Yorina Joe, the man said. Second Imperial Guard of a Daimyo. Well, at least I was. As Naruto worked on himself with the wounds, while the man went on with his tale. The criminal brothers began their work here by working the capital as nothing but low-profile thugs. They were nothing more, just weak potential. That was until the medic of a daimyo died. And another one, Yomi, he called himself, he arrived. At first, the daimyo's health got a lot better, the man said. The man paused as he saw Naruto working on himself. As the burned flesh, he was adding disinfectant to it. And he wasn't even wincing at all. One tough kid he was. Then it worsened. Yomi told us that only a certain ingredient can save the daimyo's life. So we had to seek to get them. Then the Kurosiki family arrived, offering their helps and their contacts. If we had known what kind of scum they were, we'd have never accepted their help. As Naruto's hand started to glow green, as he roamed his green hand over his body. How many people is in the Kurosiki family? Said Naruto. Their leader is Reiga Kurosiki, who is going under the false name of Reija Kikigoro. When the daimyo appointed him as his personal guard and removed me and Trojo from service. And Reiga had some more thugs with him. They have this one powerful move that I think you should watch out for. What is the move like, said Naruto? 5 of them stand on top of each other and they spin their blade gauntlets to create some black tornado. If they are attacked by weapons, they would just deflect it with high speed spinning. What do you know about the Yomi guy? Naruto asked. He said he came from the land of demon. He said he was a medic type. I've never seen him in action though. His 4 pupils, they follow him around like some drug addict. They call him Yomi-sama like he was a god. I never saw them in action, but I know they were strong. They're a bit on the crazy side though, from the way they act. Does this Reiga guy has anything of worthy in his fighting standard to ask? If we had known who he was beforehand. But we found out that information later. He's an ex-swordsman from the Hidden Mist, Reiga of Kiri. He's about Anbu level, not something a 10-year-old can fight. I am not here to engage enemies, said Naruto. I am here to gather information on the criminal brothers only. That's the secret mission I was given. Now, if it was fighting, that would be an S-rank mission to take on these guys. I know I should feel saddened that no help will come from outside the city, but at least one as yourself so young should not die here. You should leave this place, it is not safe. They are on the search. The moment he said that, a feminine voice spoke. 2 spies to fry. Rikyu. Naruto's eyes snapped towards the door as it exploded. The explosion threw him through the window as he dropped towards the down floor. His body already wounded as he slammed on the stone floor. He cursed as blood started to ooze from the shaplings where he got stabbed. But he saw a flash of blue as his body picked itself up and started to run. Yorinojo, who had landed behind a desk, picked himself up as he saw the person in the doorway looking in the room. At least he will go out fighting, he thought to himself. He waved a single hand sign as his sleeves turned into loose flower petals, firing mixed with steel shurikens. Reiga raised his electric kiba blades as he deflected all of them, even the ones that came from behind him, like he had eyes in the back of his head. You really think those would actually work? No, but this will. As the man slammed his hands together, I pledged my life to the daimyo a long time ago, and I will use that life to take you down with me. All of the flower petals, everything that the man fired off started to glow. Boom! The entire place exploded. After a few seconds, someone caked in electricity jumped through the window as he landed right on his feet on the road as something was on his back. There was a voice that came from it, a low whisper. Yes, one is still alive. I will give him proper burial, he said, as he looked down towards the blood. As he followed the blood and made his way, he arrived at the alleyway, where he saw a grey, blonde boy, covered in blood, standing there. He was still breathing. There you are, such resilience, even after Such pain. Your body must be aching. I don't even know your name, but I will bury you while my heart cries out for you, Rika said, as he smirked. Time skip. 15 days had passed. It was precisely as a 15-day had passed. Itachi wasted no time as he walked right in front of Kakashi, who has been there the entire time. As Kakashi closed his book, Itachi could see it. The man was tense and he was stressed. Kakashi-sensei, it's me, Itachi said slowly, as he released his transformation. The days had been most interesting as he was forced in the woman's bathroom. That was something he will never forget, especially with his Sharingan ability. His father would probably have a mix of heart attack and a male pride as well to give him a thumbs up if he knew about it, because Itachi saw a lot. As Uncle came over, we think Naruto is in trouble. He should have been here today, but he's not. Did you achieve information on the criminal brothers? Kakashi asked as he looked at the two, who awkwardly nodded. We did. They ship in from the land of demons, medical equipment, and they have been buying weapons, traps, explosive from the hidden stone. We got copies from various farms to show who's corrupted at the border security. Then the mission is done, said Kakashi. What did Naruto say if this happened? He said that we should leave him there because rules dictate that we should not rescue a captive shinobi if we have important information that need to be delivered swiftly. As Itachi handed a scroll to Kakashi, as Uncle did the same thing. These are the information we got, Kakashi-sensei. We thought you'd want to head back to Konoha to hand it over because we're going to be rescuing Naruto. I know it's insubordination, but Kakashi cut her off as he took the scrolls as he went through hand sign. Poof. Back on, said Kakashi. As a small pup looked up towards Kakashi, Kakashi tied the two scrolls on him. Now off you go to Sensei's office, said Kakashi with an eye smile. As Pakon poofed away. Sensei? Said Uncle, we're going to find Naruto. If he's been captured, there's a high chance he's still alive, as the criminal brothers will try to get as much information they can from him. Kakashi really hoped that Naruto was captured when he tried to leave, because if he was captured at the beginning, as he knew that Naruto was tough, and he had a lot of resilience, but he wasn't so sure Naruto could hold out for a week of being non-stop tortured by the demon brothers, as he knew what kind of scum they are. They made their way through the countryside. This is entirely my fault, Itachi said. I shouldn't have accepted this plan, I should have gone along. No, Itachi. Naruto's plan was sound, said Kakashi. He would infiltrate, prepare the area, and have you join him when the risk of being discovered would be minimized. He has learned how to avoid the people gaze and stares through the hard way. And it's not something you can simply pick up, but you have to learn through training. Sensei, doesn't that mean that whoever found him has to be extremely strong? Said Uncle. Yes, I should have thought better than to send him alone, but as a chunin, one should learn what to do no matter how dire the situation was. But I'm impressed. Any normal team would have followed regulations and left Naruto behind. Uncle snarled at that. I don't care if you're impressed or not, she said. You better hope that Naruto-chan's alive, because otherwise, you're gonna have to explain to his mother. As Kakashi paled, yes, it's the duty of the team leader to take the blame. I'm sure that Naruto-kun is gonna happily accept it. When he come back alive and well, said Kakashi. Yes, Naruto was a leader. He will be explaining everything when he come back, and they will find him. With Naruto, it was dark. That much was a given. He remembered the medics laughing, the call, the laugh, the shrieks, the pain he suffered. He remembered, and at the same time he forgot about it, as he felt his consciousness slipping down, like a pitch-black darkness wanted to claim him. It wasn't a bed that his back touched, or soft blue fur. It was hard concrete. Twisted landscape. There were snakes, black snakes, dripping purple venom as they hissed at him, but they were held back by a blue flame that was all around him. So you're gonna die. A voice said from behind him. He did not turn. He had a feeling that he should not turn around, as he think he already knew who it was. Kyuubi, he whispered. Yes, the voice said, as Naruto felt sharp claws touching his shoulder. What is this, said Naruto. Moryu, the demon that controlled the ghost army. He who seeks 1,000 years kingdom. I know that he was Seal, but I never expect him to come here. So, I'm dead, said Naruto, as he looked out at the pitch black darkness beyond the flames. Do you wish to be dead, the Kyuubi asked? To sleep eternally in the stomach of a Shinigami. To never let your eyes open to the light of a day. To be at peace without despair, without troubles. To sleep eternally in the darkness. Naruto ward stopped in his throat. What about his mom? She would definitely cry. She would blame Konoha. She would leave. And she would start to drink again. What about Uncle? What about Itachi? Gigi? Jiraiya? Neji? He couldn't leave them. Kakashi, Shizune, Ayam-chan, Toki, Ibiki, Kurenai. He couldn't leave them. His chameleons. I have so many people. No, I can't die, he said. The Kyuubi, remain quiet. You remind me of a stupid individual. A very stupid individual. She believed the very same thing that you do. Until immortality came and took its toll. She lost all of them. But I'm sidetracking. I can save you. And me. But there is a price that you must pay. What is it? Said Naruto. The claws spin him around. Naruto hold back from screaming to what he saw. He saw himself. The skin of the hands was melting off. Slashes all over the body. The chest was caved in. The eyes were crushed, removed from their socket. Bones broken, mended, legs twisted, but yet still it was still standing. Loosen the choker, and let us be friends. As Naruto held back the scream, but he wanted to know, be friends? I'm a female, by the way. The torture and broken, him said. Why the form, said Naruto. This is what your psyche show me as. I am something that you can relate and understand from your past. I am also your worst nightmare. But there is no time. Loosen the choker, or we're both gonna die. As Naruto grabbed it and loosened the choker, the flames behind him ignite as they raise to the sky, illuminating the entire place. As he watched the form in front of him change to a blue nine-tailed fox, the fox started to increase as she grabbed him. She did not bite him, but she grabbed him and threw him up. As he landed right on her head, she started to increase in size, her tails getting longer. As she slammed her tails down, tearing apart all the snakes that tried to invade Naruto, blowing away all the darkness. As the room started to change back into a bed, a giant bed. This is better, she said as she cracked her neck. As the choker now looked like a necklace. Is everything alright now, said Naruto, as he had tried his best not to fall off. I suppose, though you might want to grit your teeth, it's not over yet. As the fox spoke, Naruto closed his eyes and did what she said. So he befriended the nine-tailed beast, who was a she. And he was almost in the process of dying. What was worse, he knew perfectly where he was. And he recalled the condition his body was in. It's gonna hurt like crazy, right? Said Naruto. I'm going to mend you as much as I can. But you will have to claw your way out of here. What do you mean? Said Naruto. Until you get your hands back, I'm going to materialize my claws next to you. It's not going to be pretty, but you need to lash onto the closest living being you can sense. We probably won't have much time for it, understood? Lash? What do you mean lash? Bite him. You can't do much else. Alright, said Naruto. Let's do this, he said. Back outside in the real world, he had lasted for 6 days after he was captured. Yomi had tortured the boy, but no matter what he did, the boy never spoke, not even once. But now, Rinmara had told Reiga. Rinmara was a very special boy with a very useful Kekigenkai. As he told Reiga that Naruto was at his last breath. Tell me when he exhaled his last breath, said Reiga. As the small boy in his back replied, Yes, Reiga-san, Rinmara. He could see the world through his caretaker. He didn't like what he did, but deep down he knew that Reiga was a good person. As he activated his ice power, he was able to detect powers, chakra, life, individuals, and also wounds. As he looked at the shinobi that they had captured, he never stood a chance. His chakra was different. And immediately, Rinmara had warned Reiga about him. That is why the hunt started so quickly. As he focused on the boy, he then closed his eyes. Rinmara, what's the problem? Reiga said. As he pulled out the Kiba blades. Reiga loved to give people a proper burial. That is why at the moment Naruto was in a grave. But the grave cracked. Blue smoke seeping out of it. As the ground started to rupture, Reiga tried to move backwards, but the dirt exploded. A jutsu that he knew all too well. The Kiri hidden Jutsu. Rinmara, Pay attention! But the boy was crying non-stop, screaming on top of his lungs. It hurts! It hurts! I can't see anything, Riga-san. Darkness. Only darkness. The flash of blue light that appeared for a second had outright blinded the boy. And just like that, the mist moved. Something dashed forward. I'm sorry, Mara. As Riga felt the boy being pulled off his shoulders, he tried to slash what it was, but the thing already moved. The mist started to dissipate. As standing there was Naruto Senju, covered in blood, his arms being repaired by the blue chakra. As in mended bones, tendons together and flesh, his legs that were smashed by the torturer got repaired. His skull got filled once again. His eyes seemed to pop back in its place, and his gaze narrowed. But in his mouth though, as he growled, was the body, the torn body, offering Mara as he spat it to the side. Who are you? Riga said, his eyes fixated on Naruto. That boy was tortured to a point where no one could even speak. His skull had been bashed in, his eyes had been severely damaged. His legs had been broken, his arms twisted and ripped. They were literally cut down the joints, the skin was torn off, the muscles were broken. And yet the boy was back, as he healed from wounds that should be impossible to heal from. The boy took a step forward as Riga took a step backwards. Why were those eyes looking at him like that? To find your peace in this world. To find your heaven, said Naruto as he stepped forward. Riga felt afraid. Those eyes looked like they were born of the pits of hell itself. Those clear, icy blue eyes that were lit with the flames of the underworld. I am your nightmare, Riga Kurosiki. May you never find peace. All the graves around, mist, rose up from the graves as Riga started to move back. Whatever this thing, this was not a boy, this was some kind of demon. As he saw, black shrouded figures rose up from the graves, like this boy was controlling the underworld itself. Riga ran for his life as he was scared, on Vu level, but he was scared as hell. The death seemed to be controlled by this boy, this monster. Blue flames lit up around the boy. Riga screamed as he got the hell out of there. As the mist then dissolved, as Naruto collapsed down to his back, he was suffering from chakra exhaustion. Note to self, transformation jutsu and the hidden mist jutsu combined are awesome, said Naruto. Obviously, because I was there to lend you a hand, a voice said in his head. Oh yeah, said Naruto. Thanks for that. Good night, as he fainted. Meanwhile, with Kakashi, Shidori, as Kakashi slammed his lightning-covered hand through the man, the metallic dust that was holding Anko and Itachi went back towards the man as he died. That was Jiga of the Criminal Brothers. Where the others, Itachi said as he cleansed himself of the black dust. They had barely entered town and then they were attacked. Sure, Kakashi told him to put on by the headbands so they could draw out the fire towards him. But it was working a bit too much. Right here, sweetie pie. Itachi spit as he blocked Senmon's with his kunai. The voice belonged to a woman with orange hair, as she had Senmon's in one hand. And she had a wicked grin on her face, with purple black lines running through her face. She sped through Hansen and blasted out a stream of water, as Itachi Sharingan split the life, as he leaped out of the way. Kakashi on the other hand was realizing something. Just where the hell did they send us? This isn't a C-rank mission, this is a S-rank mission. As the attack had ripped through houses, tearing them to asunder. Anko nodded towards Itachi as she started to run, it seems. No run away from me, girl, the orange woman said, as she went to another set of hand sign and raised her hand in the air, as the water mass surrounded her like a big thub of jelly. As Kakashi charged towards her, she simply smirked, as she made the water turn to spikes and came down towards Kakashi. Seni Jashu said Anko as she swung up on a tall building. Itachi threw his kunai as he went through Hansign as they multiplied and came raining down on her. Itachi flashed through Hansign at the same time as he fired out miniature fireballs. She leaped away with a smirk as she sent more water spikes towards him, only for her to turn as a hail of kunais and shurikens came down towards her from Anko as she leaped away only to land. As the moment she landed, something slammed into her back. She was surprised by the speed as Kakashi electrocuted her, throwing her back to the side. She crashed and rolled to the ground. only to land right in front of Itachi, who brought his kunai down without hesitation as he slit her throat. Kakashi said, "We need to find Naruto fast. Whatever is happening here isn't something he can handle alone." Kakashi was panting badly, as his Sharingan, overusing it, caused the man strain on his body. His movements started to get sluggish as the man fall, only for Itachi to caught him. Itachi cursed. He knew his sensei limit, especially when overusing the Sharingan. He glanced up towards Anko, who was already making her way. For now, all he had to do was protect his sensei, and hope that Anko was able to find Naruto. As Anko quickly made her way, Anko was afraid. Yes, she was afraid. These people were stronger than they thought. As the moment they had put on their headband, they started to get attacked by a whole dose of them. If it wasn't for Kakashi Sensei, they would have already been killed. She knew it. As he was the one who took most of the brunt of the hit, he must be exhausted by now, she thought to herself, as he's been overusing his Sharingan. As she made her way, Naruto was alive, she told herself. He was probably scared somewhere crying, because his Uncle Chan wasn't there. Yes, he was just probably scared somewhere, hurled up and crying. As she would find him, and finally make him see that dongos were superior to ramen. As she didn't want to lose him. She had hit him, she had cursed at him. She did many bad things, and yet he forgave her, as he said that they were friends, and she didn't want to lose him. As her snakes guided her towards the smell of blood at the cemetery, she screamed when she saw two bodies. One of them, spiky blonde hair. The other was covered in blood, and it seemed like something had ripped through its neck area. She checked over Naruto quickly as she kneeled beside the boy. He was unscathed, not even a single wound. As she placed her head on his chest, she heard his heart beat. He was still alive. Thank Kami, she said to herself. But the moment she said that, she felt a feeling of dread as someone started to walk towards her. She grabbed the boy and jumped back as she saw a strange creature with three faces. Long white hair that was laughing with all faces. Ah, Yomi-sama was right. He is a container. Good. Given to us. He will be used as a vessel. Uncle threw a kunai with their left hand towards the monster, who simply laughed. Earth release. His entire body covered itself in hard rock, as Uncle Kunai merely ricocheted off of him. With this, nothing will stop me. She placed Naruto on her right shoulder and thankfully didn't weigh that much. Hopefully she could dash away without this thing reaching her. Let us play, shall we, he said. Earth release. Walls erupted everywhere, forcing Uncle to leap away with Naruto, as they came smashing back down, trying to stop her. Alright, you little girl. Let's see, stop Jitai. As Uncle paused. Another one. A pink-haired man stepped forward. There's a trap right there. Kusuna, just in time. Give me a quick fix, please. I want to burn this Kunoichi alive. As soon as he said that, black snakes with purple veins going through them came from the purple-haired man. The snakes connected into the rock giant, and the rocks broke away, as it seemed that molten lava was running off his body, giving him a fiery demon look. Ah, this is better. Hey, remember, we need the container intact. A pity we did not know of his qualities before we tortured him. Dissecting him alive was something Amaki-san truly enjoyed. As soon as he said that word, Uncle Eye snapped. Amaki? I heard that name. Amaki? Her fist clenched tight as she let Naruto down on the ground. So you had fun harming my teammate, huh? She snarled. The 9 marks on her neck started to spin, and it started to spread with a blue view over them. Well, I got bad news for you, she said, as her fingers tensed. Nobody messes with him, except for me. She moved. Her right fist, now enlarged, covered with dark green scales, smashed into the giant man. The man was thrown with a ferocity as he smashed into the wall. As Anko stopped, her skin started to turn dark. Horns started to come from her temples. Unknown to her, the numbers on her curse seal started to tick down like a timer. From 9 to 8 to 7 to 6. As it started to go down and down. She opened her mouth as thick white threads came from it and slammed into Kusuna, as fire run down each of them. The man screamed in pain and agony as he couldn't escape his body was burned. The other, Jitai, got up as he coughed blood. The man felt his entire body racked with pain from a single punch. He could get to the container if he dashed fast enough. He wasn't that fast though. As he was about to reach the boy, his head was grabbed. As he turned slowly, the twisted, wicked smile of Uncle looked at him, before she smashed his head into the ground as she stomped into his ankles, breaking them. As she kept on stomping on the man, breaking his body down as he cried. She just kept on stomping and stomping and stomping until she reached his skull as she stomped on it like a toothpaste going poof. There you go, said Uncle. As the number stopped at 3, she collapsed her hands and knees. The number 9 returned and sealed away the seal, her image returning back to normal as she panted on the ground. As Uncle blinked, what the hell? She looked around. What the hell happened to the cemetery? It looked like it had gone through an apocalypse. As she looked forward as she saw Naruto, she felt so weak. Could she carry him back now? She wondered if she could even lift him. As Uncle wondered though, where was the police force of this unit? They haven't arrived yet, something was holding them back. As she wondered if it was Itachi and Kakashi. Unknown to her though, someone was watching. A white-haired man with brown eyes stood with a cone in his hand, biting his lip furiously, debating on what to do. His cold gaze looking at all the bodies around. If he wanted to, he could just write this off as a mystery. This wouldn't cause any diplomatic incident for Konoha. Yes, that would be the best thing to do. But Naruto, did that man really see like Kyuubi himself Naruto? But why then? Why did he tell him that sentence? Did he heard wrong? No, he did not. He remembered clearly. The seal could not finish. Iron to strengthen it. Naruto. Yes, that was exactly what the man said. He wasn't mistaken. But why? What the hell was going on, he thought to himself. He had to get rid of these bodies though, to make it look like a mystery. As he went through one sign, lightning release. Electric magnetic murder, he said. His chakra took form and ran through the road, cracking and burning all the bodies, incinerating them. The roads then caved in, the broken, torn bodies falling into the trench. And just like that, the man was gone, like he was never there. With Itachi, on the other side of the alley, where Itachi had carefully booby-trapped, waiting for Kakashi to come back to his senses, stood 2 men. One of them long black flowing hair, another one white hair, wearing a blackish attire. Setsuna, kill them, one of the men said. Yes, Yumi-sama, yes. Wind style. As he blew out a massive torrent towards Kakashi and Itachi. Itachi didn't even flinch. As he went to hands and breathed a massive fireball. The 2 techniques slammed into the center. As Itachi kept on spewing the fire, that was when he saw something. As he released the fire, boom, the ground exploded. The person dropping down, ripping everything apart. As the wind was dispersed. Itachi, where's Naruto? Tsunade said, as it was none other than Tsunade. As Setsuna didn't wait as he fired off another wing style towards Tsunade. Tsunade's eyebrow twitched before she crashed her foot in the ground. The ground exploded once again, shooting rocks projectiles straight over to the 2. As Tsunade moved forward to end this, Setsuna turned his head. Yomi was no longer there, and he was running low on chakra. He tried to move, but the woman was just so fast as her fist connected into his chest. He was sent sailing like a bullet as he crashed to the other side of the village. Good, she said, as she made her way and picked Kakashi up. Her hands started to glow green as she placed on his head. Kakashi woke up rather quickly. Kakashi blinked as he looked around. Kakashi! His eyes focused on her. Where is my son? She said. To his defense, Kakashi thought of a valuable excuse. But Uncle might be in trouble, so he spoke without thinking. I don't know, but Uncle was sent to... Tsunade tossed him down to the ground. You don't know? You're his sensei. You better pray that he's fine. Itachi, where's Uncle? She went that way, but I'm not a tracker, he said that gulp. Shizune, wearing the Chunin flat vest, appeared with Tauntaun on her arms. Tsunade-sama, Tauntaun has a track on Naruto, but what? It is going in 2 directions. Where? To the Daimyo Palace, or the cemetery. Where did Uncle went off to? As Itachi pointed towards the cemetery. No, said Tsunade. Shizune, take care of Kakashi. Keep him alive. I'll be talking to him once his mission is over, she said, as she dashed off. As Itachi pulled out his flask with water inside. Shizune-san, oh yeah, she said. With the information uncovered, the Hokage deemed it necessary to send higher left the ninjas to infiltrate the perimeter. He sent Jiraiya himself to infiltrate the village, since he said that he was nearby. Itachi narrowed his eyes at that. He stopped showing up for 2 years now. It seems awfully convenient that he's nearby, and he didn't bother to warn Konoha how dangerous the mission would be. Maybe he just didn't think about it, she said. Jiraiya-sama is a very busy man after all. He has a spy network to run. A loud voice then came from the side. Yosh! Kakashi twitched at that. As Shizune sighed, a cloud of dust was running down a man with green eyes. Water style! As the man fired off another water attack. Damn it, stop dodging them! Gya, help me! This guy's mad! As his opponent knocked him up in the ear. The green beast of Konoha is never mad, he said, as he delivered several strong punches to the man. The body came crashing down by the time it was over, as Guy gave everyone a thumbs up. The green beast of Konoha is here to help, he said. My rival Kakashi, you are in need of power of youth. I see. Kakashi closed his eye. This is a nightmare. A really bad nightmare I'm having, he said to himself. My guys, one of the Jonins on their Naruto-sama command to free the land of vegetables from the organization Criminal Syndicate, as Itachi saw two more people, a woman with red eyes and black hair. The other was wearing a black cap covering his head, with a tough look on his face, that smirk. The headband had been embedded into the black cap, as he was a special Takabitsu Jonin, as Itachi already knew what field he specialized in. It was none other than Kurenai and Ibiki. Ibiki had a man on his shoulder, tied up as he was unconscious, as Kurenai was holding a girl. Itachi blinked as he looked at the woman. Did you just kidnap the daimyo's daughter? He asked. We sure didn't, boy, Ibiki said. We saved the daimyo's daughter even though she didn't believe in us. But she believed now because Yua-chan has her way of making people believe in her, he said, looking towards Kurenai. As Kurenai glanced around, where's Anko-chan and Naruto-kun, she said, as she looked around not seeing the two of them. Naruto-kun came up with a plan, which involved us splitting up, for us to gather information in the city. We were just meant to get information and then we should head out if the situation became too risky. As Ibiki dropped the man to the ground, on the same man that was knocked out by Guy. As he listened, as Itachi told him everything that happened. The more the story go on, the more worried Kurenai got. All they could do was hope that the both of them was fine. Meanwhile, Anko felt something coming towards her fast, as she clutched on tight to Naruto, as she avoided a grey and black snake that crashed through the giant wall. A man with long black hair, small beady eyes, as black snakes was coming from his body all around him. His eyes showed interest, not in her though. It was in Naruto. As he looked towards the boy, she remembered those eyes. They were the same eyes that Orochimaru looked at her with deep interest. As he seemed to be perplexed looking at Naruto. Can you please put down the container, the man said in a rather calm tone. Senijutsu, she said, as she made green snakes fly forward. The man black snakes teared through them. They were coming at her too fast, as she felt her body slump down because of her exhaustion, only to feel something push her out of the way so she did not get bite. As Anko got to her feet, Naruto? As the boy was now awake and he was surrounded by those black snakes. I should have realized, said Yomi as he stepped forward, when Amaki-san was dissecting you. You were born to become the container of Mordio. Rejoice, boy, because after I train you, you will become the container of the great snake demon. And you will guide us. Shut the hell up, said Naruto. All the snakes got lit up into blue flames, as the remaining one retreated back to the man. Knee chakra, he said, his voice sounding dark. Naruto-kun. As Anko felt the aura coming from him, it felt dark. As Naruto turned towards her, but he smirked. As he then turned his gaze back to Yomi, as he showed her hand sign about the battle strike. Only formation that Naruto would know. But what was up with his voice, she thought to herself. She would ask him about that later. As Naruto shot forward, his eyes fixated on Yomi, who sent more snakes towards him. As Naruto jumped to the right into Anko's palm, who threw him up in the air. Just as Yomi turned around to focus on Naruto, he did not notice the strings that were attached to Anko and Naruto. As Naruto was the hook, pale blue flames rushed down as Anko fire release rushed down as well. As Naruto spin encircled Yomi in the cable, as he dodged snakes. The fire then came in as Yomi was tied up. Normally, Yomi would laugh at fire attacks, but the blue fire, it was burning him. He raged as he released the dark snakes to break the wire. As Anko threw the senbon needles as they were coated in rattlesnake poison. As Naruto rushed forward, Naruto-kun, stop, said Uncle. But it was too late as Naruto sank his fangs into the man's neck, biting down into the man's neck. Yumi's eyes went wide. As his body slowly disintegrated, leaving nothing behind. The blue flames consuming everything. Naruto dropped to the ground as he started to cough violently. As Uncle watched as a dark black steam released from his mouth and went into the ground. As he collapsed on his back, Uncle rushed over. Naruto-kun, Uncle-chan, are you... She slapped him. Don't you dare ask me that question. Are you alright, she said. Naruto simply nodded. I'm fine, he said. He looked around. What happened? I might have helped you out, said a voice. As Naruto blinked. Wait, you're... Kyubi-chan, Kurama-chan, or Q-chan for friends. As a nine-tailed giggled in his head. Wait, did you just giggle? Yes. But I need to sleep soon. The more I stay awake, the more chakra I consume from you. I know there's a lot of questions that you want to ask, but wait. Until you're fully rested, okay? Now, I'm gonna be taking a nap, she said. As she was just gone like that. As he wondered, did she really fall asleep that soon? Well, he supposed he would just have to wait. He was then punched right over the head. Ow, he said. Don't you hear me, she said, as Uncle has been talking to him the entire time. I'll write in a report, said Naruto. It's better that way. Uncle eye twitched violently. What are you talking about? What is it that you don't want to tell me? As Naruto's eyes turned towards her. You mean except going through 2 weeks of nothing but torture? The last of which, I was buried alive. Bones and arms flailed to the bone, but I was still alive. Being dissected, torture, shock, jolt, burn, and worst of it all, look at me now. Absolutely nothing. As Uncle looked at him. His clothes had a few holes in it, but nothing else. If it was anyone else, she would have called him a liar. But it was Naruto. Oh indeed, said Naruto. And guess what? I have to write a report about it, and no one's gonna believe me, because of who I am. And I'm sure that the Hokage would use this to get me kicked out of the shinobi rank, saying that I spell secret because I am completely fine. I will get stripped of my rank, because the Hokage has nothing better to do than to make my life a living hell, said Naruto. As Uncle was surprised, the always quiet boy, he was finally losing it. But this wasn't his fault. This whole goddamn mission, Naruto said, I bet it was his fault. He sent us here on purpose, just to watch me suffer and die. I'm sure the next thing he will do is have us separated, just in case he doesn't kick me out of the rank. He will make me take the tuning exam alone, just to watch me die in some accident that he will probably set up. Damn it, said Naruto as he slammed his fist into the ground, as tears were rolling down the boy's eyes. Uncle moved forward as she hugged him into a tight hug. As he released the tears that he could not release while he was being tortured, he could not show any sign of weakness. Because he did remember it all the hateful feeling, the pain, the suffering, but he kept his mouth shut though. At the moment Tsunade watched the scene, the first thing she thought of was to rush over and hugged him that he was alive, before slapping him. But the boy had cracked under the pressure, as she had to make sure his stability was fine, after hearing what he just said a moment ago. But she could only wait until he stopped crying, as Uncle held on to the boy, as he released all the painful feeling that he felt while he was being tortured that he had to keep to himself. Time skip. 2 days before the Chunin exams. It had been awkward at first, as Naruto seemed to just close off himself. That was his way of coping with things. After all, being tortured wasn't something easy to go through. But he fell asleep while walking, strangely, as he seemed to take a lot to sleep in, and it was weird. It would take them at least an hour to find out because he was walking so normally. Seeing that he was usually quiet now, they didn't even know that he was sleeping because his eyes were still open. But when he turned back, he wasn't responding at all because he was actually sleepwalking. Karaka-sensei, I have a question, Itachi said, as the gates of Konoha came into view. Yes, Itachi? How did Tsunade-san and her team get to the capital so fast? Tsunade grabbed Naruto around of her arms as she hugged him closely. Well, when you concern my Naruto-kun, I can even go as far to convince Hokage to teleport us directly towards the border, she said. As she didn't look down, he had fallen asleep once again. I am starting to think that he's going narcoleptic, said Shizune. No, he's just exhausted. Poor thing, said Tsunade. He's got this severe case of chakra exhaustion. But I didn't even know that he could sleepwalk, she said. Kurosiki pulled out the camera. Sama, she said. Do you mind if I take a couple of pictures, he asked. Just make sure you give me copies of everything, said Tsunade. Ibiki and Kakashi blinked as Naruto's head was buried between the largest pair of breasts. Most men would have, do anything to get in that position. It would be weird seeing that Naruto was her son basically. But it still got a reaction out of them. Guy was off to the side, marching, as Uncle was at the back looking down, as she felt like it was her fault. As she lowered her head, what was she thinking? They were shinobis. It wasn't her fault. But every time she felt down or unhappy, especially every time Naruto was in pain, she felt like something was sapping her vitality. She didn't know why though. She put out a smile on her face, decided to come out of this strange mood that she was in, as she went to go take a look at the sleeping Naruto-kun. As they arrived, Kakashi took Naruto, as Tsunade gave her report first, and then the others gave their report. That should cover it up, said Minato, before he paused as he looked at the boy, who looked like he wanted to sleep, as bags were under his eyes. Kakashi also noticed something about Naruto. His hair was now completely silver. The roots had still been blonde, but now they were now silver. And when he looked closely, he saw a whip, like some haze, coming off Naruto. It was like the ones on the horizon in a very warm day. Yes, they were spiraling off the boy's body. And he looked exhausted, bags under his eyes. I have a whole of 2 weeks on you, Senju Naruto, said Minato. You put in the report that you simply wrote captured and then release. That is clearly not enough. You understand that I will have the IT department, even the Yamanaka, to check your mind to find out what happened. As Uncle realized what Naruto fear was coming true. He can try, said Naruto, surprising everyone as he spoke. But I'm pretty sure that Q-chan would eat his brain out. Sorry, Hokage-sama, but my mind is mine alone, he said. The temperature in the room dropped. Everyone trying to understand what the boy just said. What did you just say? Asked Minato. If he tries, he dies, said Naruto. Because Q-chan doesn't like when people wake her up. And she will be pissed, said Naruto. Minato eyes wide when he understand what the boy was saying. The Kyuubi? You're referring to the Kyuubi? Kakashi cursed himself for not realizing. What if the boy had been controlled by the fox demon? Yeah, she saved me. I know I'm really tired. Had to loosen the seal, or I would have died. She saved me from that torture. Now I'm really tired. Yeah, sleep now, he said, as he fell right on the floor in the office. Minato got up. I should call Kushina, he said, as he was about to pick up Naruto, but Uncle and Itachi stepped in front of him. He could give you a written report tomorrow, Hokage-sama, said Uncle. Right now, he should sleep. As Itachi spoke, it's best if we carry him to his mother, so that he can be physically checked and prepared for June exams. Kakashi, order your team to stand down. I cannot risk a seal breaking and the Kyuubi setting loose. As Kakashi grabbed both Jennings by their hand and started to lead them outside. Kakashi-sensei, you can't! As Kakashi blinked as he looked at Uncle. Uncle, what are you not telling me? Alright, listen. Naruto broke down. He broke down in the cemetery. He's feeling paranoid. He thinks that the Hokage is out for his blood. So if he wakes up without us and with the Hokage, what do you think he will do? While this might be a problem, the Hokage will come up with a solution. And I'm sure that Naruto will do what is best. Itachi frowned. Anyway, I'm filing all of you for tuning promotion straight away, said Kakashi. He had to admit that last stunt, as they would go up against anyone for their teammate, not to mention going against the orders to protect Naruto despite they should have gone back to the village. Obito would have been so proud, he thought to himself. On the other side of the door, Minato had picked up Naruto and placed him on the couch as he sent a clone to call Kushina. There was a reason why Minato was worried. If Naruto could speak and talk to the Kyuubi, then that means, does he know what happened? He prayed that he did not know, because he hoped that Naruto would never find out. But if he did, how would the boy react? Look what we have here. Naruto mouth moved, but his eyes were closed. Minato's eyes narrowed. You're the Kyuubi, aren't you? He said. As the boy picked up himself, his eyes still closed. His direction was focusing on Minato though. as the air went tense. But guys, if you end episode right here, if you want the next part to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn the bell notifications to stay posted. But I'm out for now, see you guys soon, peace.